Okay, so if the earliest recorded mention of an ancient ward is in Stanton in 1743, and the phrasing indicates it was already extant, but the agency wasn't formally established until 17. Well, it's possible the proto-agency could have... Oh, hey. Hey! No, the seat isn't taken. Feel free to join me. So you decided to roll in same after all, huh? Awesome. I really do think you'll like it here. You enrolled in the Maymaster? Ah, good call. It'll definitely help you get a handle on things, that's for sure. Especially what with being relucent. Hmm? No. I turned in most of my finals last week. The only one I have left is my practical Earth Magics exam, and that won't be that bad. Since my degree isn't focused on Earth Magics, it isn't anything strenuous or even all that advanced. Not like the people who are majoring in Earth Magics, and definitely like nothing expected out of the postgraduate students for their practical finals. I just have to show a basic aptitude of magical control representative of the years I've been studying and comparable to the requirements for my degree. Lucent anthropology. It was a close call between that and archaeology. I've always kind of wondered where magic came from. I was actually going to major in library sciences. That was my declared path my first 2 years. I mean, I love books, and preserving knowledge is important, but I realized last summer that I just didn't love it. I don't want to just preserve and disseminate the knowledge. I want to help find it. I want to discover the answers firsthand. I'd be looking for the answers in my spare time anyway. Might as well find a way to make money at it. So I made the decision to change majors. Figuring out what I wanted that to look like took most of this past year, but I feel like I can get more out of the anthropology end than the archaeological one. If I can understand how and why the culture functions the way it does, I can maybe reverse engineer it and find the when or the where. You'd think, right? But no. With enough study and practice, wielders can get amazingly precise with our control of our element. You know how you can make a tornado in a bottle by spinning it around? You could ask a water wielder to make one in a teacup without touching it, and they could do it. An air wielder could create such a delicate breeze it can blow the puff off of a specific dandelion in a field. I can create a hairline split in the sand if I need to. But even in the field of lucent archaeology, doing it in the mundane way is honestly better for dealing with a lot of things, especially when so many of the artifacts are so fragile. Why use magic when a toothbrush will handle that job just as well, and maybe actually even better depending on what the artifact is made of? You want me to sift dirt off of something glass with my powers? Sure. But clay? That could get dicey. It just isn't worth the risk. So I don't need to demonstrate anything particularly showy or difficult in my final. I just need to demonstrate a standard base application and understanding of my powers for a third-year general studies student. Which I honestly could probably do in my sleep at this point. Hey, that could be fun. Show up in my pajamas or something and pretend to sleep through the exam. I actually once played a D&D game where the whole premise was something similar. We woke up in an unfamiliar room and had to improvise weapons and armor using only what we could find in a regular guest bedroom. Oh, it was a good time. Oh, but that's a story, and you look like you're wanting to sit down and get some actual work under your belt. Which classes are you working on? Which ones do they even have you in? Oh, shit. That's essentially a complete crash course. I guess they want to make sure you know all your basics. Or something. I. Wait, that's literally all the intro courses. That doesn't make. I've never. I guess maybe that's special for recanters? I think the only other people who have classes like this are unbound wielders. They aren't quite as rare as recanters, but you're both definitely less than common, I guess is a good way to put it. I wonder why you'd have such a similar course load. I guess that question will answer itself eventually, though, right? Who'd you land for Intro to Theory? Oh, nice. That's actually Loxley's course, so you'll be seeing her again. Oh, she's not that bad, I promise. She really does like TAing, and she's honestly really good at it. Give her a chance. If you want my advice, you could always try bringing her a coffee. I mean, you do know what her favorite drink is and her favorite place to get it from. I bet it'll go better than you're thinking it will. This? Oh, this is just a passion project I've been working on, off and on, since I was a kid. Every handful of years, I find what feels like a new piece of the puzzle. It's a little hard to put together since I don't have a box or anything, but I feel like I've got a good grasp on what the edge pieces look like. It's just all the stuff in the middle I have trouble with. Sometimes something I think fits doesn't actually go where I've put it. And sometimes I actually realize years later that it's not even part of the puzzle at all. It's just a piece that was cut with a similar saw, or something like that. Whatever the finished puzzle is, it'll be one hell of a picture if I can ever actually figure it out. Suffice to say, this is just for my own edification. It's a mystery I've wondered about since I was a kid and just kind of poke at in my spare time whenever I think about it again or when some new piece of information that feels like it's connected drops into my lap. Have you heard about the ancient wards? No, not like that. What Loxley can do is something any shaper can do, though they aren't really her area of study. Hers only last a handful of minutes. You get a shaper who specializes in it? I've seen their wards last years. I've heard of a handful of cases that last decades. Those are part of what keep places like Same sort of off the map. The campus is essentially under layers of them at this point, with how many have been cast and reinforced and stuff over the centuries. So that's one kind of ward. The ancient wards are something totally different. Okay, so short version. There are these magical crystals that radiate a particular magical field. You wouldn't, because they're kept behind shape rewards. These things are literally everywhere in every Anchorage city. Nascent society just stumbling on these, let alone just seeing them hovering there. God, that'd be a nightmare to try to explain away. I don't even know how we'd start. It's fine. How are you supposed to know what you don't know? Cut yourself some slack. I don't know any relucent person who's ever believed it when they hear about them. But they are there. And there are two types of them. Each type radiates a distinct magical field. One that nullifies pretty much any magic cast inside it apart from healing magic, and one that alerts on some magical frequency tied to the agency offices whenever an unexplainable burst of magic happens within its vicinity. They're called hostile magic nullification wards and alert wards, respectively. You'd think the agency could have come up with something more inventive. Well, then again, they're functional names and honest ones, and what else do you expect from an agency that named itself the Federal Agency for Practical Standards? I mean, what they do is right on the tin. And there's something to be said for both truth in advertising and transparent naming, I guess. You never have to wonder what something's for. That's the thing. We don't even know that the agency set them up at all. That's the official story, and it seems to make sense on all fronts. But they're called ancient wards, and you can hardly call the agency itself ancient. And no new wards like that have ever been created in anyone's living memory. Even when the cities grew and expanded, the original ancient wards are all we've ever had. Ever since I was a kid, I've wondered where they came from. I figured it was some common knowledge grown-ups had that kids just didn't. Sort of like how to fill up a car or something. I assumed it was just something you learned once you got to a certain age or picked up a particular associated skill. It isn't. Nobody knows where these things came from. The oldest reports about them I've ever been able to find just treat them like they've always been there. That would track with both the fact that those reports aren't much older than the agency itself, and with the theory that Anchorage cities anchor the magic. I mean, the ancient wards are only in Anchorage cities, but where did the magic itself come from? And why would it need to be anchored? Are the ancient wards actually the source of it? There are just so many unanswered questions. It's a puzzle encased in an enigma tied with a bow, one I've been trying to unwrap and solve my whole life. Well, that's the hope. Thanks for the vote of confidence. And thanks for letting me ramble at you about this. I know I've been holding you up from getting your studying done, so I'm gonna get back to my little personal puzzle box, and I'll let you start on what you meant to do. Let me know when you're ready for a break, and I'll buy you a soda or a tea or something down at the snack bar. My treat, as an apology for talking your ear off, and as thanks for letting me. I mean, if you're sure you want to hear more, then okay. I can definitely do that. But let's both get this part done first.